Hello, welcome here at Untitled Krakow. Just where I am. At first, just in the district Podgórze of Kraków, from the main in Krakow. That's just 1 kilometer east of the main market square, on the territory of former Jewish ghetto. You see the chairs behind me. Yes, there's the 68 chairs. It's the symbol of 68,000 Jews used to live in Krakow before Second World War. Only 3,000 survived the Holocaust. And every year at the 12 p.m. started the commemorating march from the Ghetto Hero Square, because now is the currently name of the square, over the fragment of ghetto wall to Płaszow concentration camp. I see the few people that just turn camera on other side. You could see they're preparing for the walk participants. That's everything according rules. They keeping the masks and distance. That's just the tradition is still kept. Why? On the 14 March, because on the 14 March 1943, the Jewish ghetto was liquidated. You know the word liquidated is just the not proper word. It's better to call that effacing of Jewish life. At first explanation why chairs. Roman Polański was the little boy in ghetto and managed to escape. And exactly 18 years ago, he decided to sponsor the monument commemorating that time. Each chair is like 1,000 Jews used to live here, and they are in the special row. They're giving the impression like in the class, but it's the symbol of emptiness. You know, the something is just missing in your life, and they're like waiting for unexpected visitors, hosts. And with me, that is the surprise, is the one German visitor. He wanted to join that march. He wanted to commemorate that. That's why is the surprise with me is the Mr.Holger, and that just he is just taking coffee, and just we both walking. I encourage him to ask questions, because over there is the pharmacy under Eagle. And that pharmacy, run by the Polish pharmacist. And he saved Jewish life with the distributing of the black hair dye, or they giving the sleeping pills for babies with the luminal. The Jews wanted to smuggle their children through the sewers, and they saved life over 400 babies. This is still not what a lot of about him. Is there still not enough information about life of Mr. Pankiewicz. Then even you could see the very friendly small cafe on the part Tworzywo, and just the Holger is coming. And just we walking, we are just in the action. That's why that just we walking, or for the tour is the not staying on the part. Just okay. That just let me come to him. Okay. That's why there's just now overview. You see the skyscraper now, but it's just such building was not exist in that time, and the SS. You see, we coming closer. That was the gate number 4. That's why just on the part I came closer on the part. Then you see the participants preparing for the march on the part. I just okay. And this is just completely free joining to the such march. I was surprised because I thought that no one is here, but then you see about the one, and all preparing for the march 3 kilometers long to former Nazi Germany concentration camp Płaszow. That's why just on the such part you could join with us on the part. Yes. you see the different size. Hey, like much. That's just I encourage to join. Just we still preparing for the walk. That's the just starting. Relax music, welcome. And look at this. Some chairs are a little smaller. They've got the special lighting. There's the lightning. That's why at night they making the special effects. Such chairs are lightning. But the number 33 chairs. That is just like a date. Hello, Commandant. The 1933. The Holocaust started 1933. That's why the 33 chairs is the special meaning. But they are orientating to the Płaszow concentration camp. Exactly that direction we walking to the east. That is the 2 kilometers away from here. And we are just in the part of the Ghetto B. They were just mainly disabled just older than 60 plus and children. That's why the Germans, they recognized them as the useless. And they were just prepared to the transport to the concentrate death camps. Hello, Katrin. And you see that some people marching started the march. And I hope that is just my Holger. I could introduce him. Okay. 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 Just okay. Oh, I introduced my friend Holger from Berlin. And just look at this. I think it's a very touching moment, because for me, as was always, there was a lot of German Israeli groups that visited Krakow, and now completely we don't have any sponsors, nothing. That just from the deep, from the heart, we just want to walk. And that is the very special walk, because I say no donations, no any such things that you say push the button and got any donation, nothing. That's just walk. I could spend the time, for instance, with family, and as you see,
it's a non-commercial event today.
Absolutely, that's just always the proper. But have a look. That's just I show you some details. If you see the former SS building at the gate number 4, you could notice the date 1941 and 1943. There's 2 years existing of the completely isolated district, so-called Jüdische Wohnbezirk, as the Jewish district, that people were recognized. They got too much diseases, you know. Just something stop. Oh, look at this, the part. And that is the main market square, Krakow, the part. And we are exactly over 1.5 kilometers. The square, former name Zgody Square, today the Ghetto Hero Square, Plac Bohaterów Getta, Ghetto Hero Square, and that pharmacy that I told you. And our route is, we walking very untypical, not like all people. We walking to the fragment of Ghetto wall, then we climbing to the Benedict, that is the point the Oskar Schindler observing, according to the Schindler's List, the actor is sitting on the horse and looking at the liquidation of Ghetto. And then we walking to the Liban. That group doesn't walk there. They walking the classical Wielicka Street to camp, but we walking to Liban. Have a look. That's the name. Is the like a state Liban, but we don't meet any Lebanon. There is the very complete. We say Bandok of Krakow. There's the rubbish and not Czech side of Krakow. You see the Catholic cemetery, but we walking over former 2 Jewish cemeteries. The old Stary. Look at this. There's the Żydowski, it means like is the word from Cmentarz, the cemetery, old Jewish cemetery and new cemetery. Then we've got the view on the Amon Goeth villa, but is our last point of sightseeing. We're walking to the monument commemorating the Holocaust victims, and then we're finishing at the Amon Goeth villa, the Commandant that you know. Hello, Hexa, everyone. Gracian, appreciate your joining. And have a look, just we walking along the former wall. Even here on the street you could see the shape of the former wall. On the right, Ghetto, but now the skyscraper, modern. Ghetto Hero Square. See that, a lot of people there today. And we are just at the edge. On the left side, former Aryan side. On the right, Ghetto B. Okay, we're stopping traffic.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I did not know
Yes,
that.
yes, that is the special. You know, that is it was said with the guides always.
You learned
You
something.
learn, you find the things that just normally you're passing by, and that surface is much better if I show you. That's why the name of the square is the Chair Square. It is unofficial by tourists called because they are just new modern form made in 2003. You see the hill, that hill we climbing up. That's the famous hill. If you didn't, if you haven't watched the Schindler's List, it's your little homework. That is the very good background for the such tour, any tour in Ghetto. The film made in 1993 by Steven Spielberg. And have a look. Here, one chair is alone. Just making the little viewing. Oh, my friend is over there. Just have a look. Why the chair is alone? You see the all chairs in the tram stop, altogether 68 chairs. And that, that's just, that's just, it's a such strong, oh la 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 la, moment. My hat is the flying, but you see, I said I got a special microphone for you. That's why I think you don't have any sound. That's why today comfort with microphone is absolutely, I think, better. But please write if something wrong. Why the chair is direction at the beginning of Lvovska Street? Because there was the former main street, and then we going direction Ukraine. 240 kilometers is the frontier to Ukraine, and the city such beautiful like Krakow, Lviv today, Polish name Lwów, Latin or Latin Leopolis or German Lemberg, the Ukrainian city like Krakow. And there was the former, we used to be the former, the main street. And here they ran the trams without stop, because was the always danger of the, if we say outdoor, there was the epidemic danger and no tram stops in the ghetto. That's why, but have a look. What is the, because always I want to give you the feelings, what we feel, for instance, what is about me, my German friend Holger. That's just how is it just living now? Because if I ask the people that they stayed here, they've got the conscious there was the ghetto here. There was just the very bloody past that over 4,000 Jews were killed during the liquidation action. Just around the corner, I want to ghetto. We've got the special commemorating plaques. Look at this, even the houses. Oh, over there, just slower. They've got the very authentic shape. That is the just such dark because was the all still the coal in service, and there was the all dark at the pitch. And have a look. Here is just the plan of ghetto. There's the always describing in Polish, Hebrew, and English. That's why there was the place exactly in that corner. The famous painter, Jewish painter Neumann and Mordechai Gebirtik, the famous songwriter, is the symbol of klezmer music. They were unable to run. According to the documents that I read, there was the other house. That's why the plaque is on the wrong place. But the just opposite house, they ran out, and Nazis ordered them to run. But they were unable to run quickly, and they just shot on spot just in front of the house during the liquidation of Ghetto 1943. That is such situation with the very hurry up and very quick effacing of Jewish life here. But just on the way, I want to show you that there's some ruined houses. As I said, it's the not, it's a very chocolate side of Krakow. That's why still you could find very authentic flair. But maybe for the filmmakers, very attractive. Steven Spielberg, he said, there's like a paradise for filmmaker. He made in 5 months, very quickly, the whole film shots. And look at this, even that house with the bricks in front is the very oldie, and there's the just not plaster over there. But there's such authentic side. That side on our left is the Aryan side again. And imagine that street that we walk on the right, the whole windows were bricked up. That is the edge of the Ghetto B. That's why I repeat, that is the minus 14, 60 plus, disabled. They were just workless Jews. That's why they were squeezed in the small Ghetto B, and all windows were bricked up. That's why they didn't see light from the eastern side. That direction is also Schindler's factory. About Schindler, you could watch a lot of vlogs that I made, but in general, Schindler saved 1,100 Jews. That is the official number given by last documents. You could read, for instance, records of the last Jewish survivor that lives in Poland, Niusia Horowitz. She is the only last alive survivor that I met her twice exactly during the meetings on the Museum of Krakow, and about him, that is the truth, because he was as the little girl knew him. You see, we are at the edge of Ghetto B, some runners. And have a look, there's just like in the time, some windows are still bricked. That's just, but now I think because of the heating. But you see hello, Elutek. That's just the bricked windows. But we're coming to the very important corner from the gate number 3. Here ran the 2 trams. And there's from the Schindler's List, you remember the scene with little girl in the red coat running. The famous song was the kinda like kleine Kinderle. It means the little child. There's the scene with girl in the red coat. More details about her you could get on my vlogs. There's just not too much say details. And that is the most important, because you see the cars, they're making the U-turn, like this. And we meet the original fragment of Macevas. And luckily, during the communism, they survived that fragment of wall, 12 Macevas shaped. That was the fantasy of Charlotte von Wächter, the wife of the governor. She said that Jews, they should feel like in the live cemetery. And you see the fresh reefs that are put. White and blue is the Krakow flag. That's why you see the reefs from Krakow flag, white and blue, don't forget. Yes, and slowly we walking direction the Crystal Palace, and another gate. Very good weather, because it's the temperature about plus 10 degrees, and no, it's very windy, but it's just no leaves, and you've got the perfect, you've got the zebra, perfect. And there's because of the leafless landscape, we could perfectly see the whole panoramic view. In one moment, I give you much more view. We're going now direction the east, and Crystal Palace. That was a very rich owner of the factory. There's the famous candies from there. Now it's empty, as they're still waiting for its heyday, but new apartments behind. Look, as just still the new apartments eating the old buildings up. That is was still appreciated, but now in Krakow is forbidden. Now we are very much more environmental friendly community. And that is the magic street Rękawka. This is the one way. And exactly at that was the gate number 2. And they started 1 hour climbing. Okay, you could see us better. Look at this, we're getting to the forest. Only the forest is the park. That's why, according to the Polish rules, we could take breath, because in the parks, beaches also, you could take free breath with the distance. And have a look. That is just the houses in the style from Steven Spielberg film, 1993. There is just the flare that I discovered more than 20 years ago. And then old quarry that we see on the left in one moment. Have a look. There's the climbing area too, as I did climbing a lot in my time. But you see the climbing, we see then for the upper part much better. Yes, but now we see much better the view. I try to don't to shake a lot. Okay. Some houses you see with the damaged roofs on that part is the like a forgotten part. Yes, we'll be climbing a little up. Okay. And have a look. That's just okay. Okay, you've got the better view on the part. It's a little steep on that part. That part is not taken by the tourists. Usually they afraid of such climbing because you see the path about the 20 degrees on the part, but with a panoramic view on the ghetto. In one moment I show you the place that Oskar Schindler sitting on the horse with his lover, Miss Klonowska. That is we say, fantasy of Steven Spielberg. Schindler wasn't here, there was the invisible. He stayed in the factory with Jews. That road was blocked and was invisible to take any horse ride on that side. Okay. And appeared the church on the Benedict. Okay, have a look. There's the one of the oldest churches in Krakow with basement, even date 11th century or even older. And that church is absolutely the smallest church in Krakow. I suppose it's even smaller than St. Adalbert Church and the main market square, but it's still closed. Only on May there are some holy services, but they're still closed on that part. That is the St. Maximilian Fort. That is the fortress from Austrian time. And the panoramic view on that part of the new blue line. We see much better one moment. That is the sky line, the new train road connecting east and west, and the chimneys of Nowa Huta. That is just the steelworks 10 kilometers east from there. That panoramic view, you know from my vlog about the ghetto, but now you could get in the whole compact facts, because if I told about yes, that was absolutely the place that Oskar Schindler in the film used to look down on you see the quarry. But it's the fantasy of Steven Spielberg. As I said, after new researching, that was invisible for him. Okay. Walking. No, this way. This way. Okay, this way. Okay. Yes, and just the part of for the film, as I said, fantasy, and that part was used. The only was the not bricks wall, but made of wood. There was the just wooden fence. Now you could see any mesh, but that was the wooden fence on that part. That's why there's some Jews, they could escape from the ghetto, or there was the feasible to smuggle some illegal food or so on. That's why there was the feasible on that part. Yes, that is just I said. That part is the not chocolate. We see there a lot of traces of picnic places. That is some detail that I give you, my friends. Have a look. There's like a bunker, but maybe they are better experts than me. You see the barbed wire, the Maximilian Fort. The fortress was made by Austrians, and Nazi Germany. They tried preparing for the defending Krakow from Soviet army. By the such renovation also they were made just at the end of Second World War to prepare for the attack of Red Army. That's why they make. Yes, that is absolutely rubbish part. Especially I want to show that here is the place for the foreign visitors, very important, because I met morning French visitors and they want to see that was the scenery from film. And look at this down, that is the wall of Ghetto. There is the second part, but only 1% of visitors see the such ghetto wall of Jewish ghetto. On the left, Jewish ghetto, on the right, Aryan side. But you see the playing ground. You could watch my video about the ghetto. That's why you see much closer that part. Here is only from the upper part view on it. Schindler's factory is exactly like a yellow building, but it's much smaller. That's why it's not very transparent. Yes, just we are very close. Oh, there's just nothing doesn't make. There should be a regular action of the cleaning such places. Especially, I see that the places that foreign visitors like to visit, they are not in a good shape. Yes, oh, just is the special sneaky part. Okay, we are just. And the Austrian fortress, over 100 such buildings around Krakow, like a ring, and they are very. They should be very good protected, but many of them they are ruined, and there is the pity, not special maintaining of them. But 100, they could be the beautiful cycling path or better connection. There's the private, there's the primary school in Podgórze. We are close the Krakus Hill and Liban. That's why just we were together, and we walk direction the Liban. Yes, the steel park. We see the more and more people with dogs. They like the such running with dogs on the part. I think the wind doesn't bother you because I got the top microphone for the windy days. There's only and tripod. Oh, there's just. And the first in the Ghetto square, my hat was the flying out. That's why it's just the little trouble. Ceremonies, I tell you, just closer. But it's the one of the oldest graves, we would say, or the grave of the legendary ruler of Krakow, Krakus. Slowly there's coming the time that exactly the sunrise is over hill of his daughter Wanda, and sunset over the Krakus Hill. That's why it's very special moment. That's why it's like a solar sign for the orientation. Podgórze, it's mean they're under the mount. We are just under Carpathian Mountains, and there's just the hills up to 300 meters over sea level. That's why we slowly getting almost 100 meters over Krakow. That's just much higher on the path. Oh, there's this special shortcut. That's just a little part. Oh, okay. Just we getting through the little row. And beautiful new cycling path connecting the Podgórze with second part of Podgórze through the Telewizyjna street. I told you about the television street. Why the name television? Here in Krzemionki is the regional TV Kraków, and that is also the railway connecting Krakow with Silesia and direction Auschwitz to the part. But have a look, exactly that building, the old building with chimney, we're going there. That's the former quarry Liban. The place for we say, detention prison for Polish workers, and not for Jewish. But it's the little private history of my mother's side. The uncle, grandfather, brother was there and then transferred to Auschwitz. Aleksander Witowiecki, he worked in that quarry, and that's just a part of the, we say, concentration camp Płaszow. And then we're going secret path over the hill to Jewish part with the monument. That's why everything is in for us. Okay, just I prepare a mask. Okay. Television Street. In 70s they make the such road. That direction is the site of the third program of television. And other direction, Nowa Huta, steelworks, that's just of the part. Oh, it's much better than yesterday. Yesterday was just much worse. Now the temperature is there's just much feeling even as like a plus 15 degrees Celsius. Only the strong wind is the problem. There's the beautiful system of cycling paths. As I said, Krakow, they got one of the biggest amount of the cycling paths in Poland. Oh, we're walking downstairs. Oh, just the street is called behind the rail. Behind the rail, because that was just the main rail connection Krakow with Silesia on that part. Such overpass way for cyclists was made over 15 years ago. This is just time is running. And at the number 22, the behind rail street number 22, is the original building of the former quarry Liban and Ehrenpreis. That was the former Jewish owner just from the end of 19th century. There was the vast production of the lime or cement or even preparation of the bricks for the Krakow architecture. That's why if you see the beauty of Krakow architecture, it's just because of him. He ran the best business with production of the best, we say, cement matters, beton or just concrete. And the chimney on that, but that is the problem. That is official, is the closed. The owner is the city of Krakow. I see only the toy business, has some any plastic containers and no entry. That's why usually the visitors are embarrassing. They consider, there's nothing here. There's no entry to Liban. But it's the secret way. Bricks building. Yes, I made this tour for English-speaking visitors. Yesterday was live for Polish, and that was just, I want to keep that such tradition. Have a look. Such bricks, there's just repeated, no restoration of the building, almost 100 years old on the part, and is the still waiting for the better day. I see them the infrastructure with the fence. With fences is always progress. But the just quality of the building just left abandoned a little bit. And you see the railway on the part. Perfect restoration on the part. And here was even the side rail connecting with the east-west transit road, because was the plan of the connecting Berlin over Krakow with Odessa, and Krakow was just on the way station. You see even little viaduct and shape of the rail. They used to go under the bridge. Oh, that's just in the bush on the path. And you see the edge of the Liban quarry. We're getting closer. You see much better the quality of it. You asking me, Gracjan asking me about the why is there not full Polish? You know I know the statistic of the watching of the programs around the Holocaust and Schindler or Płaszow. I've got 99% of visitors only English speaking or German speaking. Interesting, the Płaszow, they were only German groups, like my friend that's just walking with me, or just I give you our faces better, or Israeli visitors, or Americans, US Americans. And there's just the topic, there was the more and more famous because of the New York Times. They pointed the main entrance to the Schindler's factory, and after film even Spielberg was surprised the such big amount of visitors, foreign visitors, asking where is the Schindler's factory, where is Liban, or such scenery from the film. And now we're going secret path to Liban, that you see the street made from masevas, from the Jewish tombstones, just rusted. That's industrial matters are completely rusted. The quarry was in operation till 80s, then decided to lock that and is to completely left abandoned. Again, we've got the something that is the calling for restoration, for we say new vitality of the place. As just completely left, but we've got only few steps. Please stay connected, because the more and more interesting artifacts coming. I would say artifacts, because look at this, the such shafts they played in the film Schindler's List, which they played in, then we see in one moment. And then we are again in the park. That's why just you see some bikers or jogging people that are just like such place. That is the whole territory of Płaszow is almost 40 hectares, but the whole camp got the territory of 80 hectares. 80 hectares, imagine. That's just okay. I give you something. Thank you, Eltek. I give you some view on the place that the former garages or any workshops from the quarry. But Spielberg, they used the cliff on it. Yes, exactly. For putting the mock from the villa of Amon Goeth. We see on this tour the original villa of Amon Goeth, the cruel commandant of Płaszow. But we say made of very simple construction only for film, was made on the very solid foundation, because the foundation basement is just left untouched. That's why it's very secret matter. You see that just between the buildings or any cemetery, but it's not cemetery, that's just the edge of the exactly shape of the villa. But especially we're getting to the edge of the villa. Oh, have a look. That is the characteristical, like a balcony. That's why so even the legend about this shooting for the balcony. But that is the edge of the quarry and the shafts on the. From the film scenery, there used to be 15 barracks and 11 towers, not real. The Amon Goeth villa, and he used to work at the Płaszow, was the behind the hill. Here was the former camp for detention camp for Polish workers, for 400 workers exactly. What happened here with Polish workers, I tell you a little later. Now just you've got the impression of the place. You see absolutely silence, the only birds singing. We are just alone in that such place. there's always, if the visitors decided to visit Płaszow, there's no time to visit that place. If you want with that place, you need more than 5 hours together by class tour. I said, just with this video, we're doing it very quick speed. And we see what happened with statues made by the Warsaw artist. That is just a Warsaw artist had the idea of the modern statue. So modern, that's just the very deep meaning. That's the statues are apocalypto. I see there with spray someone reading. Big background, about 50 meters deep shaft, as the like a former furnaces, and the statue of in the Jewish shawl or praying shawl. You could find the different meanings of it, but I see one is the for me as the new thing. There's the standing here and staying the little boy at the edge. If you watch my film Płaszow just 1 year ago, you could notice the boy staying at the edge. We afraid there's just is not special supervision of the place, no cameras, and any idiot does also so just put the fire because it was the made of the artificial matter, the fabric. And look at this. We going now down. You see the double barbed wire, the scenery from the film Schindler's List. You know the scenery from Steven from film Star Wars in Tunisia is the big, and the Tunisian they've got the big frequency because the people they want to see place. There was a Star Wars, but here nothing. That's why I enjoy again the view on the second statue, because you never know, what happened in the such picnic place abandoned. As all without cameras, so just absolutely, you see, left alone. That edge. Hello, Seal. Nice to meet you. That's the perfect. I think it's a much more convenient time to you, just than extreme time after afternoon or in the evening. And we are just in the just more than the middle of the tour. Don't worry, it's not so extremely long. We are walking down to see the street made for film, just from the Jewish masevas, from the tombstones they paved. We still snooping around, finding any, we say, life here, but I said that now the first 2 people we met in the whole territory, only singing birds, as the very wide area, and you see tourists less. Even in the high tourism, there was just no one snooping there. Oh, we're walking a little down, and then you could feel like an explorer, because the exploring, you know, there's my first YouTube films. There was just exploring films after service with groups. I always wanted explore and give some free information for people. That was just absolutely without say any business, nothing. That was just share my wisdom with others. And always, I think last year okay, something was broken. What do you think about the Amon Goeth and so on? That is just a little pond. But in one moment you see another 2 visitors. Sunday little sun is fighting through the clouds, and if you see from the quarry, the shafts on the right, you got the similar view on the Schindler's List. Exactly the same impression, but was there no trees or no bush, and the foundation basement of the villa of Amon Goeth was over there. Exactly, we were there, and that is just exactly the former stairs, the getting up. But have a look. That just in one moment is the most impressive Masevas street, we would say. It's just the first inscription in Hebrew or so on. And that is just the Płaszow concentration camp was located on the 2 Jewish cemeteries, as I said. And the masevas, they were used as the building material to build the new roads. For instance, the SS Strasse, SS Street. That's why they used such. You could discover some names on this. But that is the surprise. There were no original Macevas left, and Steven Spielberg used their own fantasy and just was the only reconstructed the Macevas. That's why that's just you see the name Herschenberg, but is the written in Hebrew and we say in Polish alphabet on the part. But have a look, that is the just impressing. The double barber wire. There were, as I said, 15 barracks and 11 towers around, and was the scenery from film Schindler's List. That's why still, if you someone didn't watch the film, this is your homework, as I said, because you see exactly that place. But they're left completely abandoned. That is the still question. There was maybe in the future there was even the wooden posts for the barber wire, because some from the high tension transformers you could notice, but everything, yes, exactly from the film. That is we walking with the traverse with the up, and you see from overview is the much better to see that street. We called them that street. It was called Maceva Street. If I doing my street program, that were just retracted, not the part. Again, view on the shafts. That is even a symbol of Karl Płaszow. If you see any, now is the preparing museum, and they always, as the logo even, they try to use such shafts as the symbol from the camp. But the real camp that we're walking over a hill is behind the hill, and that is the territory that is mostly the tourists visit over there. That part, not here. Here is just like we say taboo or place, dangerous place, because as you see, the paths are not very transparent. You see on the tree, between trees, birch trees, little up, and in one moment you see the panoramic view on the scenery from the Schindler's List just on the way. As I said, the film helped even from the commemorating day is from the march through the Jewish ghetto to Płaszow. Obviously, the first Jewish festival started 5 years before the premiere from the Schindler's List. That's why in Krakow was just need to organize a Jewish festival much earlier, in 1988. There's the Mr. Makuch is we say chairman from the whole festival, and as today they, with the whole rules, they commemorating liquidation of Krakow ghetto. But that path is just very wild. You see the pure nature. They getting on the former old quarry. The quarry since 1986, if I remember, has just ceased to exist, and slowly nature is coming. And have a look again, the view on the shafts, and there was the Maceva street across, and we were just below. Then from the upper part is the much better to see Liban quarry. The name is from the owner of that quarry. It was the name of the guy, Liban Ehrenpreis. Okay, now the little facts around the Polish workers. They were here, 400 workers, as the detention camp, as the punishment for them. They were sentenced to such hard work from the prison Montelupi. And in August 1944, just was the Warsaw Uprising. But 2 weeks earlier, exactly on the 22nd July 1944, there was the SS party. The people, the SS men, they drank a lot of, say, vodka or so. There was the big party, and they used the situation and they started to escape through the. You see look at this. up to the 170 Poles, imagine the brave Poles, escaping out of that Liban camp. And 24 were shot, or the assessment, they took the grenades and smashing on them. That's why 22 of them were shot or killed, and 46 Poles managed to escape. That's why it was the lucky escaping. But commemorating that event is the cross, but on the territory there's not allowed for tourists. There's no entry on the place, commemorating the little uprising. We would say little uprising. What happened after that? The Warsaw Uprising started, and 6,000 young boys in Krakow were arrested and put to the Płaszow again. There was increased amount of Poles because, and now you've got the answer why in Krakow wasn't uprising. In Warsaw, every 20 person spoke German. In Krakow, every fifth. And the density of Volksdeutsch or German speaking, and even the young people arrested, that was infeasible to join brave Warsawians in the uprising. That's why the Krakow didn't have any big uprising. But such incident we could little say that is like a riot and say no for the occupants. Also the people they forced to just finish existence of the Polish intelligentsia, or just the simple educated people like farmers, or they've got the special preferential form of national socialist, we say. Left of me, yes, there's the left of me, the cemetery, Catholic cemetery. And slowly we're going around that edge of quarry, of the second quarry. Altogether there are 4 quarries. And there was the first, Liban. The second, there are apartments. The third is close the Amon Goeth villa, and the fourth close the monument. That's why there was a lot of quarries, and there was always that's just the question in which quarry played in the it was just real quarry that Amon Goeth shooting to the prisoners. But I think the emotions with the person of Commandant, we say a lot of guides also, they made just films with the sensational facts, we say criminal facts about the shooting to prisoners. Just at the moment I want to keep the tour as the contemplative tour, and we say the sensational sensation we keeping at the distance. One moment I show you much better panoramic view again on the Liban. We are just at the edge, and we're walking to the other side of the hill. Oh, that's just the best. Oh, this is the still frozen lake. Is the you see the little lake or the little pond, and just we're going the direction the monument, but it's the very special, we say Tom's way. Sorry that but I tested the tour with I think that path that we're walking, they walked about 100 people. Usually I've got the individual visitors and individuals are just 1 or 2 people. I remember the one coach from the German volleyball team. He didn't hear nothing about Krakow. He had just competition in the Tauron arena, and just after match he asked me, and we walking over Płaszow 5 hours. That was just a German coach. So that's from the German TV, DWTV, or just from the German radio people. I think that's a much more people from media. They've got the interest of. We shouldn't abandon the hill of Krakus. That is the hill on the place that the legendary King Krak was buried, and that is just his ashes was just as the deposit put there. The Slavic tradition was of the burning of bodies. That was the, are Slavic tribe, and that was the just tradition in the such form to say bye-bye for the death. That's why his daughter Wanda, that was just the similar form of the hill. And they put the ashes at the top of the hill, and then the soil was carried in the sleeves and building the such a hill. That's why it's the so-called the Krakus Hill. Have a look. There's just the much better. Krakow panoramic view is much better later, but it's the edge of a Liban quarry that we were, and the Catholic cemetery just at the feet of Krakus Hill. That's one of the oldest hills with the date like Vanda Hill, 8th or 7th of 8th century. That's why much older than Christianity in Krakow. Krakow is 1,000 years old, but the such Slavic hills are much older. This is just we getting to the edge. Okay, there's no problem. Lutek, that's the always water works of Krakow. They've got their own site, but we getting to the very interesting the edge of the second quarry. They are just new apartments, completely new apartments were built at the just territory of the former camp too. That's just the beautiful view. Okay, we are just on that stage. Is that just to talk, for instance, tricks from was proper. For instance, if the capo, for instance, they ask the prisoner, do you speak German, because the prisoner committed any crime, it was better to say, no, I don't speak, because they got the time to consider the trick and to answer, or just pretend don't speak German. That's why they're not always between the, for instance, prisoners was the good to speak German, but always useful, clear. The prisoners, they understood German. There was just a much higher chance to survive. Yes, we living that on the left side. We left the new apartments. That's not so very interesting. But we getting to the edge. From there, we got the whole panoramic view on Płaszow. Polish is called the Płaszow. They cannot pronounce the word wy. It's like a whiskey woman. That's why there is the Płaszow. That's why KL is the Konzentrationslager Płaszow. That is the name. And from that place, we got the excellent view from the Nowa Huta, even far away, but just to the east. Oh, have a look. Completely new, the pointer is better. The new block of flats, they were built in 90s. They are exactly on the territory of former SS barracks and Ukrainians auxiliary service. That's why it's the huge territory. And Amon Goeth villa, there's the just Commandant, was exactly there. It's just the red roof. We at the end of tour we coming closer. And that is the just territory of the barracks. There was the 200 wooden barracks for Jews, for Poles. Poles were treated even worse than Jews in the camp. And the monument is the just over there. We walking to the monument. Absolutely, that is the just. We are on the way. But at first, we getting to the territory of former Jewish cemeteries. There were the 3 execution sites. Altogether, there were 8,000 people were killed in Płaszow, Jews, Poles, but also Hungarians, Slovakians. And there was just the 3 execution sites. The Commandant, they killed in person 500 many Jews. That's why this is just the Amon Goeth. But altogether in the history, there were 4 commandants. The first was Horst Palicek. another Josef Müller, then Amon Goeth, and the fourth commandant was Arnold, that's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnold Büchler, Büchler, but the Amon Goeth was the most cruel, and that was about him is the connected the camp. But have a look, that looked like stones ragging out of the grass, but is the old Jewish cemetery built just at the on the Jewish community from the end of 19th century, and there's the only one maseva is left. Each terrace is the like a found a basement for the barracks. The Germans they use Sinan. The Germans, as you see the former Jewish gravestones, they were used as the basement for the barracks, for the Nazi Germany concentration camp Płaszow. That's why here, exactly on the former ground of the gravestones, there were built barracks. Interesting, at any corner of that, the Nazis organized the latrine, and on the old graves, they were just the main camp latrine, and also execution site. Then the Soviet prisoners and the special group Sonderkommando to excavate the bodies, and they were burned on the special, we say, cremation stakes that's just at the edge of camp. But have a look, only one plate is the left, 76 years old. We discovered the granddaughter of him, discovered his name, and that plate was the preserved, but long time that place was the completely full of grass, and was the hard even to discover something. Sometimes happened the dogs they found any human skull and played with it. There was just the completely left territory. Still is the place as the park for the walking with dogs or cats or picnic site, but no, it's much better condition. If I remember, that place it was even infeasible to discover the such plates. Have a look on that now slower. There's the old Jewish cemetery. There's only one camp located on the two Jewish graveyards, the old Jewish graveyard and the new in one moment. So just much better. And we're walking over former roll call ground, the Appellplatz, the other part. With the appels, yes, exactly. Those are just covered with bush, and those are just completely. The roll calls, there were a horrible memory of the prisoners. Remember, the most horrible was the action of the 100 by 100 meters. And, over 400 children were sent to Auschwitz. They were split from moms. There was the played extra music on the part. There was also here the Mengel of Płaszow, Dr. Blanke. He was the so-called famous from the injections and the health appel. The prisoners naked had to run around. There was the test of the condition prisoners by Dr. Blanke. There's a lot of them after war. There was the not captured. But Amon Goeth, indeed, that I tell about Amon Goeth at the end of tour. But have a look on the left. That is just a new block of flats from 90s. And the grey house, that was the prison run by the SS, and the pre-burial Jewish hall damaged during the building the new raid truck. But we got just exploring less known corners. I want to show you the original quarry that was the maximal close from the Amon Goeth villa. That's why we coming closer to the, we say, center of the camp. Here we crossing, that is like a person with dog. Yes, about Amon Goeth, Radoslav, I tell at the end of tour. There's everything that's about Amon Goeth, it's just big topic. But that street was called Bergstrasse. The women had to build mainly that street. And they were so-called Mannschaftszug. The women had to tow cars full of stones. There was the several tons heavy load, and it was just the work almost 11 hours a day. Day shift and night shift. That's just the part. Yes, and now it's something surprising. You know, with me, there's always something surprising. Then look at this. There's any cave. Yes, cave. And we try to explore. There's always exploring. Oh, I'm very sorry, przepraszam, as the connecting was broken because we were deep in the cave and we walked out from the other side. That's why I have a look. So just the second part of this part. Okay. Yes, but we are very close. The quarry that was the probably was the maximal close quarry to Amon Goeth villa. Today they are completely new. We see luxurious houses like a hacienda built. And if you remember from film Schindler's List, there was such a quarry that if Amon Commandant Amon gets so very slow prisoner that is slow in the pace, they decided to shoot him or her. He couldn't eat breakfast and before the Jew wasn't killed. That's why there's such old quarry. This most original view on the part. Yes, that is just on the that part. Okay, then now there should be a better connection because we were in the cave and through the cave. The cave was built by prisoners as the air raid shelter. That's why air raid shelter built especially. That's why the Germans afraid from the Soviet front, and they built such shelters preparing the east side of Krakow against the attack. Yes, I'm sorry, there was just something we say because I was inside of cave. I've got the LTE radio and the connection was broken, but I refurbished, and I think now we climbing up to see the so-called swimming pool of Amon Goeth. According tradition, we got a lot of dogs, and there was over his villa, the place so-called the we say for fire pond for against the barracks were built of wood, and that was just in the case of fire such pool was the prepared as the we say swimming pool. But just a little again climbing up, and we are just in one moment over the Amon Goeth villa. That's why we are. You see the few hosts there. That's just slowly as the sunshine is the much more transparent, and half of the territory of former camp, the 80 hectares, and only 40 hectares are used for the now as the preserved as the park. That's why it's the no buildings on the half of territory. Just is a special secret way out, and we're getting to the edge of cliff. That's why if you got the powerful, you see something from the edge. It's just very special part. That's just the part. Yes, we are over the quarry. Just over the quarry is better to see that completely new houses they built. That street were called SS Strasse. There is like a grey house. There was the SS prison. On the left was the Hauptstrasse, the main street, and Industriestrasse, the industrial. Yes, Domek jest starszy, jest. That prison, the grey house, was the owner, they were council flats, and then the Jewish community is the owner. And I heard now the Museum of Krakow, they're preparing their museum as the still project to organize like a remembrance museum with the proper preparing for tourism. Because as you see, it's just very left abandoned, and it's the hard to recognize something. Have a look, and behind the bush, so-called the swimming pool, or the Commandant Amon Goeth, as a so-called, 60 meters long, 10 meters wide. As there again any rubbish inside, but was the only prepared. There was also the stables for his horses, and just below his villa that we're finishing at the villa of Amon Goeth. You see current situation shape of it, but now we walking to the monument as I promised, because there's such like a commemorating walk. I should talk a little less. That was just like my friend from Cambodia also, they putting the walking tour with music in the background, silence, and just walk. That would be very simple, but now I am out of breath. That's why please we getting the main commemorating place, C-Hill, so-called C-Hill. That was the just names, the name that we walking from the SS man Hujar. There's Mr. Hujar, that's why the name. From the hill, there's the second execution site. Look at this, the road is very transparent. If you watch the other marches, I was just in the last march with Lily Haber. That is the just representative VIP people from Israel, and that is the classical route that always walking the main roads. We did very extremely option B, no, because there's a just I wanted to show you that they did such Liban, and that is just a little extreme part, and for classical visitors is the too much. They say, oh, there's the too much sightseeing or such bush exploring. And then you see the still billboards, so we say such perfect preparing for the visitors. Information about the sites in Polish and English. That's why if you decided to visit the place individual without guide, there's that such option is the just for hand. You see the name is the H-Górka, and description in memory from Halina Schutz in Polish, in English. But here is very useful thing. There's the whole plan of the whole from the bird's eye view on Płaszow. That's why just we walked, you see the Krakus Hill, Liban is over there, and we walked the shortcut to Appelplatz, the roll call ground, Amon Goeth Villa, and now we're walking to monument with broken hearts. There's from Mr. Cęckiewicz. That's why there's our site. But it's the second execution site. We're walking to the third execution site. The name is from Mr. Hujar. He did hundreds of executions, and the famous scene from the Schindler's List is the Italian engineer Miss Diana Reiter. She considered the new barracks, because was the group of barracks builders. She asked her about the graduation, and she said, oh, I'm graduated student from the University of Milano, Italy. And immediately he ordered the Mr. Hujar to shoot her just on spot. that is the fact. Such engineer was active in Krakow. We've got the just before war very talented Italians. They founded Krakow as the second home. We still got the strong connection with Italy, as like a Poland generally with Italy. That's why there's such a history of Diana Reiter, and you could see that a very bloody scene on the film Schindler's List. But have a look, the chimney is in front of us. The chimney is from another bricks factory, Bonarka. Today is the huge shopping center, cinemas, and the corporation centers. For instance, Lufthansa, for instance, is there. And that is the today only chimney is the like a attraction for to visitors. At night is the just any lightning on this chimney, but that is the former industrial work. Again, another owner, Bonner family Bonner, were there. And then just a monument from 60s is just only few steps. That's why you're staying a little bit. And but it's not only monument. The name of the hill is the just Polish. Again, is the connected with the anatomical part of the woman as the cipowy dołek, but it's just it's mean the womb, just bow, but that was just the prisoners. They called the such place because was just the execution mainly of the Jewish women, and there was the just executions and also the burning of bodies of victims. Have a look at the end. It just is a fresh monument put commemorating the blue police, the Polish blue police. They were involved at first. They were forced to liquidate the ghetto, and then they were just killed. That's why they're commemorating the Polish victims. Then we are coming to the another monument, because the monuments are 4 altogether. The Hungarian and Slovakian Jewish women on the part. See much better. There's the from Hungarian Jews. Why in 1944 there was the capacity of the new transports. That's why one of the transport they came to Płaszow, and from their last way. Another very important, because ceremonies always finishing at that monument, is the just much higher monument commemorating the Jewish victims of Holocaust. But here was also the place of burning bodies, as I said. That was the order of Commandant Amon Goeth. They afraid to leave any traces, any tracks, and ordered to burn the whole bodies. Day and night burning of bodies. There was the mainly west wind. That's why the ashes they're landing east from here. In the film Schindler's, this again is the little fantasy. The ashes landing in the old town Krakow. They were just hello Indira, perfect. That's just say there's a little windy day, but the temperature good. And now is the most important. There's the commemorating the whole victims. In 60s, you know, the matters about Holocaust were taboo, and they couldn't use the word to the memory of Jews. Witold Cęckiewicz used the special symbols, the figures, to give the symbol of the tragic executions here. Have a look. The 5 boat people, prisoners, they've got the torn the hearts, because the execution was usually in the on the for instance in the grave. They have to lying the 5 bodies alive, and then were shot, and another they put the lime and wood, and another that's just covered with another bodies, and then the whole bodies were burnt, or just to accelerate the process of executions. The horrible we say efficient system. But have a look. The first person. That's just they've got the like a fist, the closed. That is the like a to be ready for the fighting. The left hand on this part. The second figure. We say any uprising or the protest, but then you see the much better. There's just the typical hole, and there was the much deeper. But here, imagine they smashed over 17 cars of human ashes. That's why after that, the prisoners, the witness of that crime, they said there were 17 just cars of human ashes. Yes, I think especially that moment is even hard to talk. For me, it's always voice is broken. That's just not easy to discuss that, especially that, as my uncle said, survived that they survived Płaszow, but then there was after 1 month was killed in Auschwitz. That's why just to respect the place in silence, that part we walking direction the Commandant Villa Amon Goeth. That's why in that part just keeping little silence. The part. Just, oh, just. Up in Zoo is better. Just
Yeah.
yes, that is the good question. I say that we try to give the space for the people. They just status of the apartments. There's the only one park, the green area. They could take, we say, activity with dogs, and that is just still a discussion about the place. I think as the much more crazy is the project in the Liban, that quarry that we visit at first. For the any playing ground, huge playing ground, or any, we say, entertainment park, like a little Las Vegas. Also, there's such even ideas where with the glass bridge over that quarry, but no taboo matters around the Schindler's List. I was in the meeting organized. I remember the people from Politechnika, University of Polytechnic, and they didn't want to hear about matters with Schindler's List. They want to refurbish the place in the completely new form, like only looking to the future without the history in the background. That is just very, just not, in my opinion, is absolutely invisible. Don't look into history on Goethe. And that part, there were workshops, for instance, for production of brushes, or just there was a reparation of suitcases. Lower, there were workshops for cars, for watchmakers. That's just the industrial part, but it's no traces. Yes, and just asking about your feelings. I didn't ask completely, and that's just
Very great too.
yes. But I say that's just still the some facts always. If the visitors, for instance, getting to concentration camps, is always the first impression. That's just. They're just all the same, or there's such still mistakes with the wrong name of the camps. Who did it? Yes, that is just Grazian reading something. Yes, and that part is just, I think, even free of people with dogs. If you see that part, we slowly leaving the park, and we getting to Lech Street. That's just Lech. That's just the part. Oh. There's this secret road that they're getting. As you see the whole camp, they've got the such information that just you getting to a former Nazi German camp, respect the place. Just such information was just many years ago, just before the preparing, making better the infrastructure. And then we getting the street Heltman Street. That was the renamed during the occupation to SS Strasse as the SS Street. And in the old photographies, you could see only the villa of Amon Goeth, just like a alone staying. The house they owned, any Jewish owner was the before war, 1934, and was the adopted for the new villa in the we say Vienna style, because there was the saloon, even hunting saloon, then with the balcony, and he got the two Jewish servants. There was the Helena Rosenzweig and Helena Jonas. Helena, Helen, one that just was not appreciating with the daughter of Amon Goeth, Monika Herdwig, Monika Goeth, after war. And there's the BBC film that I recommended you last time, Inheritance. That's just the film made by BBC. And the film was made exactly in the villa, because the villa of Commandant, that was adopted for any communal flats, or we say council flats, and then adopted for the private owner, and there's no entry. You see the Lech Street, but is the Heltmana, and number 22 exactly just on our left side, as the pink color. Yes, just because it was the common name was the Red Villa, because the former color was the pinkish red, and was the just Red Villa, so called. And that is just part that we talking more. Few words. I tell you some, because you got some films. Just with the view on the villa. Oh, that's just. Yes, you saw the other films with the history of Amon Goeth, but I repeat, Uh, yes, to the Krakus Mount, that is just another period. I make the other film just, I think, with the sunrise that I promised it's in the Krakus Mount. But very important information. Amon Goeth at first was arrested by German authorities because of corruption, because of the crimes that not killing people, because he killed 500 Jewish prisoners, but for corruption. And he was just in prison. And there was another commandant, Arnold Bücher, and with that commandant, Oskar Schindler started negotiation to free Jews, to transfer the Jews to other factory. That's why again in the Schindler's List in the film is there again little mistake. There was the not negotiation with Amon Goeth, but with fourth commandant of camp, Arnold Büchler. Amon Goeth was freed from the prison in January 1945, and he's got the sugar, we say diabetics problems, and he came to the sanatory in Bad Tölz in Bavaria, and then captured by American Secret Service. Then they gave the Americans gave him to Krakow, to process in Krakow. The process took place very quickly. The people wanted to lynch him. There was the big crowd during the process, and because of the war crime again broken in the film Schindler's List is the mistake. He wasn't hanged in the camp, but in the prison. Then he was not permission for burial. His ashes were the body was burnt, and the ashes they smashed to the Vistula River. His wife survived, the Monica, that was the Kate Ruth, and there was a born daughter, Monica Herdig, as I said, and always during the life, mother said, oh, if I something wrong did, she said, oh, your father jumping out of the Vistula River. Was just, but she didn't talk about the father. The matters around her father were discovered with Monica much later. That is another big history that I share with you, only with the biography of that commandant. But it's just, we say, huge topic. You are just, I see the time, my God, that's just some of you that are just absolutely perfect in resistance that you survived such long life. But I think commemorating day is the big matter to still remember. And just thank you, Holger, that's official. Thank you again for the accompany. But we say much more by heart. We say without, we say big comment would be much better. But we are finishing at the Heltmana Street 22. If somebody that's just asking about address. And for today, it's just, I think, it's just extremely long life. That was again little my record, but it's just thank you for questions. And if you wish in the future in Polish, for instance, I make that just absolutely in Polish. Thank you for following, subscriptions, also just any questions. That's the most important for me. Enjoy the Sunday and see you in the other places just in the next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.